It would help if I put us back in the actual video. What is going on, everybody? I go by Philly Mike, and this is Battle Birds Podcast pregame. You got two of the three members of the Battle Bird Podcast. One is actually finding a parking spot for the live game. He headed down to Washington, a Philly native and Philly fresh. So he'll be at the game. So he's going to come in, stay pretty much the duration, but show us how it is down there in enemy's territory. But me and Gate will be talking to you from the safety of our house. How's it going, Gate?
Everything's good, man. Hey, this is a big weekend. This might be the playoff clinching weekend for us here. So, hey, there's a lot to watch today. It's not, we got to take care of our own business, but this could be a really good celebration, man. We might be playing the backup bowl next week.
Yes, you might. As we all talked about for a while, and Dallas fans got this misconstrued, right? They've been repeating on their podcast. We hear Eagles talking about we might have to put our backups like they're scared of our starters. There's no such thing as being scared in the NFL. The fact of the matter is, we're just trying to project what you guys are gonna do, not act like we really need or want your backups. Because now it's a funny situation, as Gate just said. We might be playing our backups if Green Bay takes care of blah blah blah, the Saints do blah blah blah, and we take care of our business first and foremost. Gate, with all the news coming around Washington, Antonio Gibson, he hit the C-19 list a little bit ago. William Jackson was ruled out with a calf. I know he kind of shadowed, or he was on Devontae Smith the majority of his reps. Do you feel like, besides the quarterback switch, which is, Gilbert, whatever his name is, to Heineke, do you feel like this Washington team is going to come in a lot better, more prepared, or do you still think they're as beat up as they were minus the quarterback?
They're a little hard to judge right now because I don't know where they're at in terms of the mental space. Anytime you got guys throwing hands on the sideline, it's kind of hard to predict how your fight's going to be. Either you're going to come out really ticked off and wanting to prove that, you still want your coach there. You know what I mean? Like, you're still building something as an organization, although it ain't going to be until the following year, or you're in a tailspin. So I don't really know how to judge it, Mike. I don't know if they're in a tailspin or not, but I can tell you this. If I was a Washington fan, I wouldn't be comfortable with a team that's looking to clinch a playoff spot, coming in that's got a dominant run game, and our dudes were just fighting on the sideline. And they took it to us the last time in the running game. I will say, it's going to be interesting because they will have Cole Holcomb, playing at their linebacker position. So there's going to be a little difference there. But with that said, man, their secondaries, it's decimated, man. They're definitely there. I think they got Curl back, right? I think they got Curl back in their secondary, who's a good football player. But outside of that, you know what I mean? Like, we'll see where the fight's at with that team. I mean, I do think that they've got an upgrade at the quarterback position, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to win a game.
Exactly. Quarterback is one of the most important positions, but it's not the only position. It's it's a sport that you really got to rely on all 11 man, or actually all 22 guys, because offense and defense don't play the same and blah, 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 blah. But as you said, Curl's a decent football. He's a pretty good football player, but losing William Jackson, that's their biggest name in the secondary. That was their offseason acquirement, however you want to say it. Sean Johnson is saying no Montrez Sweat. I know he was questionable. I wasn't sure if he was a go or not. It's a lot of big names missing, and as you said, bang bang boom boom. Cameron, who is it? Payne, and Jonathan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
And Payne's dad was all over Twitter. Shout out to the real Ed Oliver, Washington content creator. I actually watched his video, and he told Payne's dad is campaigning, no pun intended, for him to get up out of Washington as soon as possible. He's saying there's no deal. There's no way to fix this. It's over. He's out of there after this season. So just let it go. So when you got that in the mix with the punching, it brings up definitely a tall task for Jack Del Rio, the defensive coordinator, to rally the troops, and Riverboat Ron to overcome what he has to overcome. But how do you think their offense is? You said, of course, the upgrading quarterback, no Gibson, but now they got a little bit more healthy Terry McLaurin, because he did play last week with us, but coming because we had the extra days is why he pretty much played, because he had that head injury. Do you think we'll see a more motivated quarterback wide receiver tandem in Heineke to Terry McLaurin?
I think it's gonna. I think it'll depend upon what they do in terms of how they play Slay and on McLaurin, because that's really the guy that can hurt you is McLaurin. I do feel like there were some missed opportunities in the last game. And I don't think that Gilbert played a bad game. As a guy that hasn't played a ton of the NFL, but he's been around the NFL for a while. And truth be told, he was a much higher prospect coming out of college than the guys they have on their roster at the quarterback position. Although I do think that, I think there's talent levels. Just because that's what you were as a prospect doesn't mean that's what you were in the NFL. But, truth be told, there were some opportunities that got missed. So we'll have to see. I mean, I would like to see Gannon play a little bit more aggressive. I'm not asking for a ton of man coverage, but tighten up some of those zone windows. Let's not play too lax here, because this is a streaky quarterback. This is a very, very streaky quarterback, and what you don't want them to do is to catch a groove, and then you have that whole weird situation like we had with the Jets a few weeks ago, to where we were exchanging, punches basically through the whole first half, and it was like, why is this happening? Like, I get that this young man has talent back there under center, but like, we should be winning this football game. This is not okay. So, I mean, the unpredictability of the offense is a bit of a problem. So we'll see. Or, I'm sorry, our defense, I should say. The unpredictability of our defense and coverage is a problem. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that, you put Darius Slay on Terry McLaurin in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah. What is your take on the way Darius Slay's been used throughout the season? Now, he did make the Pro Bowl. Shout out to Slay. And his Pro Football Focus or his next gen stats, something that you always dig into, and you probably know majority of it, is next level when you look at just how many times he or how great quarterback's passer rating is when he's getting targeted in single coverage, right? We're not talking about when he's asked to do some type of zone thing, but when he's man-to-man, mano-y-mano, single coverage, he locks up. However, I only remember him shadowing a handful of games, right? Would you agree that he only shadowed a couple games, some at the start and some as a adjustment to what the offense was doing to us? Hey, let's go get Slay over there. But what is your take on Jonathan Gannon? Not just, this is my shadow guy. We're going to disguise a defense, unless sometimes you're playing a team that don't have a dominant receiver. But did you like how much he shadowed throughout the year, or do you think it could have been a lot more?
I think that it's dependent upon the scheme, dependent upon your opponent. Early on in the season, Jonathan Gannon played a lot of zone. I mean, truth be told, in terms of corner play and how much we played man, we were at the bottom of the league. Yeah. We just did not play a ton of man coverage. I will say that of recently, there is a little bit more of a trend towards man coverage. We do see a little bit more man coverage being played. But when you're not playing a ton of man coverage, I think it limits the amount of times that you can really man up and shadow a guy like that. You know what I mean? So, I think Gannon just kind of has his philosophy of how he wants to play things. But I think when you don't have a number two, I'd like Steven Nelson's respectable, but he's not that solid level of number two to where you can just say, like, look, our guys got to go out there and win their battles no matter who's lined up across from them. I think that's Gannon's mentality, but I don't necessarily think the personnel is quite there to do that yet. And I think he did make the adjustment. A lot of us might argue that adjustment came a little late, but the adjustment was made. And when you look at man coverage percentages and you kind of look at how many snaps the guys have played, I'll filter real quick and we can just kind of take a look in terms of the man percentages. In terms of percentages across the league, let me filter out guys because it's showing guys with like one snap. Like that's not what we're looking for here. But as I look across the league, Jonathan Jones, New England's got the most. He's got the highest percentage in terms of man coverage at 58.8%. So trending towards 60%. Then you got Miami. All three of Miami's cornerbacks are 2, 3, and 4. So Justin Coleman, Needham, and Xavier Howard are 2, 3, and 4. Then you got New England's J.C. Jackson. So you see the teams that are clearly, you see the influence there in man coverage with not Parcells, but Belichick in that tree. Yeah, you come from the Parcells coaching tree, but yeah, I'm going back a little too far. I'm still searching for Philly guys. We're not even in the top 50 in terms of man coverage percentages. Still scrolling down, guys. Give me 1 second because it looks like we might not even be the top 100. Not kidding, guys. I'm down to 98. I don't see a single Eagles player yet.
Dang.
So, yeah, I mean that tells you right there just how little. So here we go. Vontae Maddox and Steven Nelson in terms of percentages, are the highest in percentage. And then Darius Slay is right there with them. So 19% for Avonte Maddox, 19% for Steven Nelson, 18.1% for Darius Slay. So we don't run a ton of man coverage, quite obviously, in this system. And that's 118th. Maddox and Nelson tied for 118th, Darius Slay 120th in the league in terms of man coverage percentages of your snaps. So clearly not a lot of shadowing going on.
Definitely. And like I said, I remember him doing it in Carolina. I remember him getting matched up with the Jets guy who was killing us in the beginning, Elijah Moore, and a couple others. But hey, what's going on, Philly Fresh?
Here.
He almost
Still
got
there.
held
Can
up.
y'all hear me? I'm good.
Yeah, a little breakup, but now you're sounding good.
Can y'all hear me? Yeah, I'm
Yes,
yeah, I'm
sir.
on a highway about 80 miles an hour, so it might break up just a little bit. What's going on though, man? I'm on my way to the game. You all already know, man. It's time to get this 7 or 6 seed, and I'm gonna be there to witness it, man. What's going on, y'all?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Gate mentioned about possible clinching when we started this. Right now, we're pretty much talking just about some of the odds and ends. We were talking about defense and how we should defend Terry McLaurin. I'm definitely for the shadow. Um, Gate was getting into how little we do play man, but I think if you put it in its totality, it definitely shows how what Gate said because that's what he's going off the totality. I think if you look at like a 7 game sample size, we probably rank a little different then because I do think the adjustment was throughout the middle. Well, we started playing these crappy quarterbacks. Maybe that was the reason of the adjustment. I'm not sure until I see against a playoff team, which hopefully we will.
I got
But
you, Mike. I'm
you
filtering
go
for you
ahead.
now.
Go ahead. But Gate, Fresh, what is your take on Slay versus McLaurin? Do you want to see it all game or do you want to see it periodically?
I don't want to see it periodically, and I don't want to see it all game. You have to mix coverages up with Hold on, let me close the summary. My bad, y'all. You have to mix coverages up with how they is playing. So you gotta mix these coverages up. I would like to see Slay on all the time though, because I put out a video and they got demonetized. I don't know why, because people put out videos of um, different breakdowns and stuff. And when I do it, it's a problem. But anyway, I put out a video of Darius Slay going to the defensive coordinator and the defensive back coach saying, "Listen, Moore is cooking. Elijah Moore was cooking, and I need to be on him. I need to be on number 8." And that's when Nelson went down. So he went to McPherson and told him, "Listen, I'm a cover 8, and you're going to get bracket coverage. I got 8 all by myself." And he went in there and shut him down. Shut him down. So I would love to see that against a scary Terry. Not gonna lie to you, but at the same time, we do know that even though he's Darius Slay, even though he's the best corner we had, he's not invincible. So we got to understand that even though you might have to bracket another guy who is, I don't even know who their second guy is, you still gotta watch the safety. Still gotta watch out for Scary Terry, man. So that's my point on the whole situation. I would love to see Darius Slay on him the whole time, but I'm not saying that it shouldn't be no safety help at all. Third downs, third and 11s, and stuff like that. You can still throw a little bit of safety coverage over there, y'all. Go ahead.
Go
So,
ahead, Gate.
Mike,
Let us know.
what you're asking for. So, I went from week 8 to the current week, guys, and the numbers definitely you can see a very small upward tick here. It's
I
not
thought it was
drastic,
bigger.
but Avonte Maddox is 99th overall in man coverage percentage, 21.8%, so almost 22%. And then Steven Nelson is 100th overall with 21.7%. And then when I go over to Darius Slay is 105th overall with 20.6%. So about a 3% or so increase since week 8. So there's definitely an increase. There's an increase. There's a handful of snaps per games where they're playing more man now. But
Yeah.
on the overall totality of things, like we're certainly not a heavy man coverage team.
I don't know, and I still see the big holes in the middle eventually where teams get us and whatnot. But just like as the eye testing, I just wanted to get that from you because I could have sworn I would have thought too. Later half, I seen a little bit more man coverage, and again, I haven't been watching the all 22s like I normally want to because I hate the new version of it, right? Where it goes into 10-second increments and shit, crap like that. It's just not the old version how it used to be. It makes it uncomfortable to watch. But just doing an eye test, and again, with me doing the live play-by-plays, I don't focus as much even on the replay as to go back to the comment section. But I did feel like in the last bit there was some type, a little bit more, and so 3%. When you do that in a half season sample size, it's a nice handful of plays, 5 to 6 a man plays, and hopefully they're coming on the crucial downs, right? Like the downs that get us off the field, right? It's 3rd and 6. My guys are better than your guys. We're gonna go at it. You know what I mean? Especially with the talent we've been playing over this stretch.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
Yeah, I agree with that too.
any of y'all thoughts on Washington's run game? Who do you think's gonna be the guy to step up if Gibson's not there? I don't even know because I know they had McKissick, but I don't even know if he's back yet. Now Gibson like who is it, and how you think he's gonna fare against the Eagles run defense that started out very slow in the beginning of the season? Y'all know we were getting cooked. Now, if you look at that, we've been one of the better run defenses in the NFL. You take
Mike,
a team's run game away.
Hang on, let me illustrate your point because I got something to support your data here. So if you filter from weeks 13 through 16 and you look at man coverage percentages, so over the last just few weeks, Steven Nelson is at 31.3%, which is a big increase from where if you look over the season in its totality. So, I mean, yeah, Darius Slay is at 30%. So over the last few weeks in particular, you're seeing about 30% of the snaps, those two guys on the outside are in man coverage. So that would definitely illustrate your point into where what you think you're seeing is being backed up by the advanced analytics. So, yeah, that's happening.
So that just goes to show, even when I drink during the games, I'm still coherent.
Hey, coach.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Since you in your bag of all the numbers, looking up everything right now, right? I need you to do me a quick favor. I need you to look up Javon Avery snaps and his production from last game. I thought it was off the charts, and I've been screaming at the top of the hills for Jannard Avery to be that Joker type of linebacker. And I thought they used him like that against the Giants last week. He was everywhere on the field. And it was amazing to see because, once again, this is something that I've been screaming about. And they finally did it, and it looked like it paid off.
Yeah, I can take a look for you real quick. At snap count's pretty easy to see. So let me. I'm going to go to a detailed position report for it. So, in terms of the D line, he played down on the D line 14 times. He played out at. They got him listed out at slot corner, so basically guarding the flats is the Sam 3 times. So yeah, I mean you're talking about just a little under 20 snaps. They had him for, let's see, about a little under 20 snaps. But I mean the production looks good in terms of what he did, and that's one of those things, Reese, to where it may not measure it in terms of if he's getting sacks or tackles for loss. Obviously that kind of thing is going to pop up on your screen, but being a guy that's blowing up the plays and forcing the ball back inside when you're setting the edge is something you can only really see through film. It's not going to necessarily show up in the advanced analytics portion of things. So I do agree with your assessment that he played a really good game last week for the snaps he was in.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because I've been saying this for the longest. Like, I think, and I'm not saying he's as good as these guys, but I think you can use him like a Micah Parsons. I think you can use him like a Javon Clowney. I've been saying this for the longest, and it seemed like when he did that, we finally got pressure. And the pressure, once they did that, the pressure started loosening up, and you seen finally Fletcher Cox, Derek Barnett, and John Sweat, and those other guys get pressure. It loosens up and helps your defensive line get pressure when you use Avery like that. He is our best rushing linebacker, and it's by far. It's not even close.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a pretty good breakdown on PhiladelphiaEagles.com to where they were showing the play that Josh Sweat got he forced the fumble on the quarterback. They were showing that basically they ran a T on T stunt, tackle on tackle, D tackle on D tackle stunt. And then they were also kind of twisting Avery, and I think it was TJ Edwards, and I think Edwards dropped out into coverage, and Avery twisted around him and came on a rush. And the play design, just knowing your personnel, like Avery's pretty good at pass rushing, honestly. And I'm kind of shocked we haven't seen more A and B gap pressure from Avery on the season. That's probably something that if I critiqued Gannon on, in terms of just not obviously the easy money to critique him on, it's like early in the year we were playing far too off of receiver. But the deeper thing is like, where's the A and B gap pressure, man? It seems like we haven't even faked it until we got to the second half of the season necessarily. And that's something I think we should have been utilizing from the jump.
Yeah, I agree. We brought him over here from Cleveland to do a lot of them things, right? Is he a linebacker? Is he a defensive end? He actually played both. He actually's done both. So that's why he is probably our most versatile guy when it comes to, rushing the passer, dropping back in coverage, doing all the things. I'm not saying he's our best coverage guy or best this guy, but when you look at the grand scheme of things, he definitely fits a role of a more versatile player where you can play him in a different and a bunch of packages. And let's be honest, earlier or even last year, I forgot when it was because kind of blending in the bad of last year and the beginning bad of this year. He looked like he was on a slip and slide for a while, but he has changed the way he's played. He looks pretty darn solid in there. If I agree with you on that note.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what they do with the linebacking core because I think they're in an interesting perspective right now with that linebacking core, which is, Davion Taylor's on the field. He's a difference maker. TJ Edwards is good. Probably could upgrade over him, but that kid in run support, it's hard to get much better than what he is. I do think he's pretty good in zone coverage. He's limited in man. That's he's a 60% player, I'd say. You're going to pull him out on a lot of man coverage snaps because you can't necessarily trust him on a tight end or something like that. But in zone, I think he showed you that former experience playing safety that he had. He gets the right depth, man, and he'll really read quarterbacks. I actually really like what TJ Edwards has been in terms of zone coverage. The real question is, if you get a Jannard Avery, do you trust him enough to bring him back? Do you sign him back to be your Sam? That's really the question is like you're looking at the Sam linebacker. You got your Davion Taylor who can kind of serve as your, poor man's, Darius Leonard. You got that Anthony Barr Jamie Collins type of Sam linebacker. And I think that's what we're looking for. Jannard Avery is not physically that same guy, but the thought process is the same of a guy that's really kind of a defensive end / kind of rush linebacker that you're using as a Sam linebacker. The identity piece is kind of there with a Jamie Collins and with an Anthony Barr. He's just not, he's not a 6'4", 34-inch, 35-inch, arm length kind of, disrupt passing lanes kind of guy. But I definitely think he's gotten way better at setting the edge in the run game. You remember, he used to be a bit of a liability at doing that, especially early in the season, man. He got burned a couple times in the first couple of weeks not setting the edge correctly. But we see that he's definitely turned it around.
Yeah, I agree there. Let me ask you guys, throughout the season, what do you think? I mean, I think both showed maturity, both offense and defense. A lot of people are still down on Jonathan Gannon because of the totality of what they saw. And you can't just forgive him by beating up on the easy ones the way we are. But when you look at being 11th in points per game, 5th in yards allowed, that there are numbers that do stand out and stuff like that. What is your? I don't know if we talked about this. We did talk about this last week, right? We talked about the Jonathan Gannon rumors on leaving and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the big rumor here is that if they move on from Mike Zimmer in Minnesota, the connection back to Gannon, Gannon's, just like the argument we had about defensive coordinator, he's a smart guy. He's definitely going to be that. He was going to be a D coordinator eventually. If you're the Eagles, you got to jump on that early, probably a year or two before you probably would have ideally like to do that move. So if you're the Vikings, they're probably using that same theory. you're jumping on this guy a year too early, probably than what you should. That's the question. I don't think he's going anywhere personally, unless the Viking spot opens up, and then maybe there's a 50-50 chance that comes down. But I think he'll be back next year, Mike, to be quite honest.
Yeah, well, like I said, no matter what we think about what he's doing against the weaker talent, if we go out and succeed today, we will get a shot at one of these playoff teams. Whether it's the Cardinals that flip to the 4 seed, whether it's the Rams that stay in the 4 seed, whether it's the Cowboys, whether it's the Buccaneers, the Eagles will have a matchup against a playoff team that is double-digit wins, clearly over 500, and pretty much the Bucs and the Cowboys handled us early in the season. We didn't play the Rams or the Cardinals. So we're going to get to see that this defense that is trending upwards when it comes to the numbers. And the NFL is a stat-driven league. It really is when you're looking about hiring your next coach. And I do think the outside world doesn't give our defense as much credit. I'm talking about players, right? They don't look at our players the same way we do, right? They see they got one Pro Bowler on the defense. They're not going to give a Fletch being disruptive still. They think maybe he's over the hill. They're not going to see what Hargrave has been able to do. They're not going to see that. Huh?
The stadium up here? Yeah, you just keep going straight down this road. All right, so is it best for me to park in the stadium or is somewhere I can park? They want like $70 a ticket. $70? Put my ass. All right, so what's the best place I can park? Honestly, this is my first game, but I'd go down there to the what the metro? I'm from Philly, man. You see the headband, man. I'm from Philly. You hear me? Uh-huh. On your left lane, there's a parking lot right here. It shouldn't cost you. Right here? Yeah, right here. All right, good looking, man. All right, thank y'all. Even though y'all the ops, thank y'all. My bad, y'all.
$70.
Yeah, I ain't paying no fucking $70.
He's like, he got an Eagles hat on. We ain't telling him where to park.
Hey, listen, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Right, I'm gonna need to pull up on. I'm gonna need to pull up on him. But I'm like, nah, I gotta find it. Like, I'm not parking. I know how parking is. I've been to Lincoln Financial. You know what I mean? I ain't let me over. I'm trying to get over. My bad, y'all. Keep going. I don't want to mess around, but man.
Nah, but yeah, again, it's a stat-driven league, and I think a lot of people look at our defensive talent and they say, who are the linebackers? Even though, as we just talked, in the second half of the season, we see this the uptick in Jannard Avery's production and guys like TJ Edwards. We were kind of happy with what Davion Taylor was providing before he got dinged up, right? So I think the outside world, right, the other organizations and analysts look at our defense a little different, whether it's right or wrong. And so I do think Gannon is getting some of that love for the stat-driven NFL and the fact that he's turned it around regardless of the competition, because it's still NFL competition. And maybe one of these teams that we're putting a whooping on might want him. You know what I mean? Who knows who the Broncos coach is? Who knows is
yo, fellow Eagle fan. Hey, listen, y'all going to the game? This is the best place to park right here. The first, so what stadium at? Right down there?
He loves it.
All right, man. Fly, Eagles fly, bro. Go ahead, y'all. My bad. I'm a meet me, man. I'm a meet me. My bad.
You're good.
Reese said he ain't paying that $70.
No, sir.
I'm paying $70 for kiss my ass. I'm not paying no $70, man. You tripping.
So we did get the word that Derek Barnett, a guy who hit the C19 list a little late, looks to be back and ready to go. So let's talk about some of the guys who we thought might not play and guys who are still up in the air on playing. Coach, what is your take on Derek Barnett and his impact in this game? And if he didn't play, do we even have the Ryan Kerrigans? Is it Milton Williams? Is it Teron Jackson? And then let's flip it over to the offense. And what type of role do you see from Jordan Howard? That he was limited both Thursday and Friday, but then Sirianni said on Friday after practice that we still got 2 days, but he's questionable. What is your take on his role? both offensive, defensive side of them too.
So I'll start like Derek Barnett. So with Derek Barnett, man, here's the main problem I have with Derek Barnett. It's not a talent issue. The young man's got talent, but the production isn't matching the talent, and that's a bit of an issue, right? I mean, you have to do these hurdles to justify the standing, to justify the contract, and that's never a good place to be in with a player. To where I got to come in and say, look, I get that sacks are an easy number to go to, and you can just be like, oh, look, as long as the dude's getting sacks is double digits, there's no question the guy's getting pressured. But with Derek Barnett, we always have to make the argument of like, okay, well, he does finish high in pressure rates and quarterback hurries, things like that. So he knocks guys off their spot, but he's just not finishing the play. And that's really tough when we talk about like the importance to the game, right? Because knocking a quarterback off a spot is incredibly important, but it's not easy for us to come on here and say like, oh, he's playing well, because the bigger stats that everybody sees without them paying for these crazy memberships to see these things, people don't get access to them to see that. And I think that's the problem with a player like Derek Barnett in terms of you're trying to project him. In terms of the game, if he's fully healthy and there's no kind of lingering issues coming back from the illness, then yeah, he makes you better, assuming he doesn't do anything stupid. And I picked him last week, remember, and I said, I feel like Derek Barnett's either going to do something really good or really bad, and I don't know which one it's going to be. And so you never really know with Derek Barnett. You don't know what you're getting with him. But I will say is getting, Teron Jackson back, it's a depth, right? It's keeping the depth for the pass rush. I still think, Mike, that, one of the areas we need to upgrade in 2022 is that pass rusher. We need more of an outside pass rush. Was it Agba from Miami is a free agent. If Miami doesn't get something worked out with him and he hits free agency, I was looking at his projected cap numbers. Projections are not reality. They're using contract examples, age, things like that to determine where they think he's going to be. If that young man's only going to be $8 or $9 million, we paid Derek Barnett 10 before we restructured him. Then we restructured the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take a chance on Agba at $8 or $9 million over, what we have. Hassan Riddick, Hassan Riddick's going to be like 14, 15 million, probably average annual value over the salary per season. But I just, I just think there's way more impact that you can get from Derek Barnett. But for this game, Washington's not the greatest offensive line. He should be able to do something. He should be a little bit of a force to deal with there. But we'll see. I'm like I said, man, play by play, game by game, who knows?
Yeah, and real quick before you get to the Jordan Howard impact and what you think his role will be, I still think Boston Scott and Kenneth Gainwell are going to be huge. I don't know where Kerryon Johnson will fit in. I know that he might be active too. I thought I heard ticks about that. But I got to say this about Barnett. In the offseason, someone betted me $100. Well, I got $200 bets. One was 6 or plus sacks for him. And I felt confident in Barnett, and so I did it. I know I'm losing that $100, right? But the other bet I have is Milton Williams versus Derek Barnett. And unfortunately, it's 2-2. And we only got 2 games left. So when I heard Barnett was playing today, I was happy in the sense of just get a sack, get a half a sack. That means Milton Williams can't, because I gotta match. I'm not trying to be down 200. I can match and break even with the 100 because he's not getting 6 sacks, of course. But what is your take on Jordan Howard and the running back?
Hold on. Can I speak on with Derek Barnett real fast?
Yeah, go ahead. I thought you were muted still.
No. I'm back. I'm just getting my stuff together. All right, so I actually made a video about Derek Barnett, and Mike, I was thinking like how you was thinking last night. Well, in the afternoon. You just think, and then you just like, you know what? Let me see what the public. Let me see what Eagle Nation think about this. So I made a video about Derek Barnett. Derek Barnett, these last 4 games have been so important for him. And I'm gonna say this: he has been getting more pressure than everybody else in the last 2 games. But that's only 2 games. So these last 2 games, he gotta show something. Even if it's not getting paid by the Philadelphia Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman, he still has to make a break to try to put the league on notice. Like, yeah, I'm a first round pick. I might not have got the numbers of a first round pick, but I can still produce. And today is a day that he need to produce. He needs to get off, and he needs to be dominant, not just for him as a Philadelphia Eagle, but for him as a NFL player. Period.
Yeah,
Because who's going to pay him with 2 sacks? Like when your agent goes into these negotiations and all that, and they looking at these numbers and they're like, dude, you had 2 sacks or 6 tackles for loss. Like, what I'm gonna do with that? Like what you want a veteran minimum? So I ain't gonna lie, man, and it's gonna look like if he doesn't produce, especially these last 2 games, and try to put some stats up, it's gonna look like he might come back to the Philadelphia Eagles and be. Hopefully, we draft a dominant corner. And I'm watching these bowl games, and I'm looking at a couple, but that's a discussion for another day. So hopefully, he can do something for himself because right now it ain't looking good, y'all. Go ahead.
yeah, I agree. I don't think he's coming back. Just simply, uh, the production, the contract, and what he's gonna want more, want to ask for. But as Gates said, I think him not coming back, Brandon Graham coming off of ACL, Josh Sweat not really, you know what I mean, living up. The contract was good. He showed sparks. Ryan Kerrigan being definitely out. You got to look at defensive end. The Eagles have been one of the best D lines in the game. You can't let that can't leave the city. I can't leave the city.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, Mike, when we look at win rate, so win percentage, so how often you're beating your man, basically on non-penalty plays. The best pass rusher on the Eagles is Javon Hargrave at 21.2%, which is top 10 in the
There you
league.
go.
And that's corners, safeties, defensive tackles, defensive ends. It's everybody. That's what we would expect to see, a top 25 finish from a guy that we spent, premium, top half of the draft on, of the first round on it. And it just hasn't happened. And it's disappointing, to say the least.
Facts. Yeah.
I'm
So
not even going to mention who's number 2 overall in the league because this is the chat's going to go crazy. I'm not even going to bring that up.
it starts with an M, ends with a P.
It does. Like,
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, he is balling. No doubt about it. It's rough, but we do got the line that I think can minimize that if and when we have to cross that bridge. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, for reference, guys, Josh Sweat has a 14.3% win percentage, which is 66th overall amongst everyone on defense. Then Agba, who's coming up on a free agent, is right there with him at 14.3%. So you could get decent production. You get what I'm saying? You could get 2 guys that can at least pass.
Where's Derek Barnett and win rate? Just
I'm looking right now. Derek Barnett is 81st at 13%, 13.1%.
God.
So,
And this is the man that broke Reggie White's sack record at Tennessee.
yeah. It's disappointing because it's one of those situations where I think he's more talented than that, but he's not. I have nothing to prove it other than just to say an eye test. That's
Here's the thing. Like when you went to the scholarship state in Tennessee, he got over by just going around a whole bunch of tackles. But you can't do that. You have to have more in your arsenal, and he has not developed and had more in his arsenal in the NFL. This is why he's stumbled. Like when you look at, first of all, I hate his spin move. His spin move is so horrible. And then now this year he's getting stuck in his spin move and start backpedaling to try to get to the quarterback. That's not working. That's not working. So Dan Barnett, not gonna lie to you, man. Like we talk about first round bust, and I had this discussion. Shout out to Charles. I had this discussion with him. I gotta say he's a bust because you can't have one good year and then the rest of the years it's a lot of injuries and non-production and say he's not a bust. So um 2017 took him 14, right?
Yeah.
2017 draft for the Philadelphia Eagles, number 14 is a freaking bust. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
and you would hope he would play well down the stretch, just because, like you said, he's coming up on the contract. But even I'm looking at the last couple of games, and it's still just Javon Hargrave. He's top 10. He's 8th overall. See, his win percentage is 20% in the last 4 games. Javon Hargrave 20.4. So I mean, it is what it is, I guess, guys. But yeah, I mean, there's just not a lot. Like I said, I believe he's more talented than what he's putting out on the field. But how long do you wait around for that guy? You're waiting on a ship that may never come in.
yeah. But as
So,
we talk
yeah,
about some of these individual stats and who's going to move on and stay, we do got some aging Eagles as the Fletchers and the Ronnie McLeods. I think they're actually playing some decent football to the last 2 weeks. So hopefully they continue that in our quest to get where we need to get to. But let's get back to the Washington football team. Got about 20 more minutes. Shout out to Fresh for joining us via the clouds. The stadium.
I'm here, man. I'm getting ready. I'm still here. I can hear everything.
Nah,
I got my
nah,
iPod.
you good, you
Yeah.
good, you good. So overall, we saw the super slow start, right? We came off the bye week. We played against two teams, right? The Giants and the Washington football team. And what happened in them games were both not exactly the same, but fumbles, close interceptions, slow starts, to where you looked at this team and what you saw at the end of the Washington game and the end of the Giants game were totally different from the beginning. Is this a game where we know what's in front of us? We know that not only does this get us a W and closer to the playoffs, it could possibly send us clinching the playoffs when we're leaving that stadium. With that being said, this is the game I want to see you show me that when you do head up to Dallas, when you do head up to Tampa Bay, or if you do got to head up to LA, I could go into that game still knowing we're underdogs, but I can feel good about the first quarter. Are we going to play a complete game against this Washington football team that really has been beat up physically and mentally? What's your take
Yeah.
on that, Gate?
Look, this is a team, in my opinion, and I said this in the Giants game, so I'm real hesitant to say it again because of how that first Giants game turned out. You put them away. You put this team away early. I don't know if they're going to try to do it through the run game, just because I do have concerns that Jalen Hurts being an extension of that run game. I saw some mobility from him in practice, some clips on Twitter, but you can't really necessarily depend upon 1 or 2 clips from practice and say, look, he's got lateral movement again. It's all good. But that concerns me that that might be why they're passing so heavily in the first quarter of the last 2 games, because I think it's been a really stark contrast the last 2 games of how much we passed in the first quarter. I'm hoping some of that has to do with the shortened week. I think it's multi-factored, if you will. So I'm hoping to see us go out there, Jordan Howard be healthy enough to sustain the runs. Boston Scott to play a good game, Kenneth Gainwell to be explosive and get behind the run and really put this team away, take their spirit away to want to fight. But the last time I said that, man, we did the opposite. We kept the team in the game. They ended up beating us. Luckily, I feel like this team is really locked in right now, Mike. I feel like they're going to definitely come out and set the tone. I think that they know that there's business in front of them, and I think they're going to come out here and take care of it. But that's a big key to me, Mike, is when we come out in the first quarter, are we trying to throw it or are we trying to run it? Because that's going to tell you a lot.
Yeah.
Mike froze, I think, guys.
Am I
Y'all
back?
can hear me?
There you go. There you go.
Fresh? My man's
I
eating
agree.
some. He's like,
I agree.
Yeah. I thought Fresh was in heaven for a little bit. All I could see was the sky.
yeah, right? Hey,
I
Fresh.
hope I make it there when it's time. But I definitely agree. When you look at the situation, I would definitely let him run this ball. You know what I mean? We gotta. And I was disappointed in the first half. Like, I ain't gonna lie to you. I was disappointed in the first half, and coming into a situation to where the Philadelphia Eagles have finally found an identity, and you tore away from that identity in the first drive last week. You threw the ball 3 times, and Dallas Goddard, like, come on, dude, like seriously, like you make the most contested catches in the world, but then you turn around and can't make routine screen catches. It's like that's not enough for me. Um, I would like to see more. Not gonna lie to you, but the whole situation and the matter of the fact is, you have to come and down. I'm about to try to get in this Uber, whatever this is. But the whole situation, the matter of the fact is, you have to be able to dominate from the rip and let these people know this is what it is. You got one more? No? You got one more? I'm sorry, my bad, y'all. I'm trying not walk. You hear me? Hold on, I'm trying to show y'all. Can I? How I put my screen?
I
Yeah, put
never
my
knew how
screen.
to flip it.
All right, so I'm trying to get in this. How much is it? Oh yeah, I need to get in here. I need to be there.
Yeah, because yo,
All right,
Fresh, somebody was saying that tell Fresh to hurry up because it takes a long time to get in that stadium.
yeah, I'm trying to get in here now. My man, he's sitting here, he's comfortable, he got the coffee and all that. I see you player. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead, y'all.
So,
I'm
what
on
were
my
your
money
thoughts,
walk. You
Mike, on the run pass ratio, the way we began games the last
already
couple of
know.
games, and why you think it's happening?
They said
Oh,
again, Gate.
So, what, what were your thoughts on the run pass ratio? Why it's been so skewed the last two games, and why you think it's kind of happening
at the end of the game?
early in games? I should say. I should caveat that say early in games.
Early in games. Because I think, you know, there's still a confident level. I don't know. I think the coaching staff would agree with us in the per Jalen Hurts getting better and some of the things that he struggled horribly with in the beginning of the season. So him getting better
Mhm.
and us knowing that we are going to be balanced and teams expecting us after seeing a Broncos, a Lions, a Saints game where we ran the ball uh 40 plus times that maybe Nick is like, look, we are going to run the ball and we can run the ball when teams know we're going to run the ball. But I've seen the growth in Jalen Hurts. I've seen the chemistry with the Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. Now Dallas Goddard coming out. So I feel like he's thinking he could catch them off guard with some early passes when they're trying to stack the box early, get them to back off. So now, again, as the run has been setting up for the pass, he's now trying to flip the script a little bit because we do get pass heavy in the first quarter, and that has been resulting to some crazy mistakes. With that being said, I'm not necessarily saying he should automatically go back to the run.
Mhm.
I think you got to start with the run, whether it's good or bad. Um, he showed he could stick with it, but it is demoralizing to start a game and you run the ball 3 times and you don't go nowhere, right? That can
Yeah.
change the coach's mind. Where I think if he passes it and it doesn't go anywhere, he feels like he can fall back on a run. And I think that also changes how the defense comes out because if you're a defensive coordinator, Gate, and you're going back and watching the tape and you're seeing how bad we beat up on the Lions and the Broncos and the Saints and even Washington last time we were over 200 yards rushing, right? So you're
Yeah.
looking at it and you're like, all right, I don't care if they come out and throw a Hail Mary first. I might have no safety back there to start the game off.
but
I
Mike,
might
can
come
I
out and show them
ask you a
that we're going to stop. Say it again. I think the car's messing up with your Wi-Fi or your internet. But yeah, but anyways, Gate. Long story short, I think if you're trying to game plan for the Eagles, is like, look, this team be beat when this
You
team
just
is at
heard
its
me? I
best,
said that like
they
45
beat them
seconds
down.
ago.
So I would start the game with some, you know, huge boxes. Pause. A lot of people in the box. So I think Nick is saying that, seeing that, and I don't got the tape to say that, but I think teams are coming out saying that we got to stop the number one thing, and that is giving him uh the mindset that hey, we're gonna take some shots early. We got 3 more quarters. We could fall back to the run, which is I'm not saying necessarily is wrong. I mean, if they coming out and they got 9+ in a box go ahead and hit a crosser. Just takes one of these Quez, Devontae's, or even Goddard, who got some yak in them, or even Rager, to go to distance, even with a short pass because of how the box is, or a screen pass. That's why we've been opening up with some screen passes, right? For the simple fact that they're stacking the box for the run. If you can just get that pass off,
Yeah, I thought the Giants did a really good job the first half, actually game planning for our offense, because they were rocking that safety down into the box, and then they would kind of, they told their linemen, get your hands up and get ready for those screens. The screens are coming. Get your hands up. And I thought they did a really good job in the first half, but eventually we did kind of, But I think that's the bigger problem, right? It's something I keep talking to with other people about is that the one big criticism I have is sometimes I feel like we allow teams to dictate what we're going to do instead of dictating to them what they need to do. And I think that's a kind of a big issue with us. And I think that's some area that we could get better at. Like, we're already a fairly good football team. We start cleaning up these little things like that, these really fine details to things. This team could have tremendous, like ability here. There could be something special brewing.
Yeah, I agree with you in that sense. And it's like, when the thing is,
All
we're not
right,
just.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so here's my thing with it. I don't care if it doesn't work. The first three plays and whatever the case may be. You are number one in rushing for a reason, and and this is where the RPO comes in, where Jalen Hurts has to figure out whether, oh, we got nine in the box. This is where we can run them slants, and or we can use the outside wide receivers and stuff like that. So to me, you still had a mindset to run a freaking football no matter what. But I do get if they put nine in a box with you, that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Nick Sirianni has to, because I looked at the all 22, and I seen some routes that it was only two routes and three routes. Like, to me, you can't just run two, three routes in the NFL. That's that's a recipe for disaster. You know what I mean? But in those situations, I do get it. It probably was RPO, and you got a whole bunch of guys blocking. But Jalen Hurts, this is where he has to level up and say, you know what? There's a lot of people in the box. Let's switch it up. Kill, or whatever it is, and you go to the next play, or you catch them lacking, you catch them coming downhill, and you get Dallas Goddard going, even though he might be blocking, but then you can tell him to block and fade up, and get behind them linebackers, and it should be big plays. Go ahead, Joe.
I
No,
agree.
there's a lot you're saying that it's true. I mean, to me, I look at it this way. I don't really. It doesn't bother me the pass or the run until things get out of control. Until you start going way too heavy one way or the other. I get that sometimes like defenses are going to do certain things. You have to tackle them a certain way, but it's like, come on, man. Like there just seem to be like where we start going way crazy into one side or the other side.
The
And
extreme.
I think we got to get, like it's not even necessarily it's not scheme, it's the management of the game, right? It's this element that has to do with it, and I do think sometimes that gets away from our guys a little bit. But this is a game I expect them to put away early, Mike. This like no chance. Let's not even think it. Let them even think for a moment they're going to be in this football game. Put them away early, and let's start allowing our fans to get ready for the Minnesota game and have a letdown there, so we're in the playoffs. Sorry, Minnesota Viking fans, but not
Yeah.
really that sorry, man.
Yeah, sorry, not
Speaking of
sorry.
man, I ain't gonna lie. The ratio to Eagles fans and Washington fans that I'm looking at, man, I ain't gonna lie. It look like it's like 7-3. Like, we taking over the stadium. You hear me?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's get out. Let's finish this out with home games. Uh, but we are at that point where we're gonna start doing our offensive, defensive player of the game, score prediction, and chat. Let us know the same way. Let us know your offense, defensive player, and your score prediction. But also, before you do that, hit the like button wherever you're watching. We are live on 3 channels: Philly Talk Podcast, Gate City Sports channel with Coach Steve, Philly Fresh channel, who he's in Washington right now. But yes, definitely hit that like button. It goes a long way with supporting the content. It's the best thing you can do, other than actually still the best thing you could do. And it helps us. And it's free. It's easy. With that being said, subscribe to everybody on the panel if you're not subscribed to one of them, because we do drop Eagles content throughout the week. The good, the bad, the ugly, but hopefully it's going to be a lot of good after this week. So, Fresh, you're at the game. Let us know. Offense,
Y'all see the
defensive player.
stadium? Y'all see the stadium? That stadium was horrible too. I didn't know that shit looked like that. That joint was horrible. But
Give us, you go first since you're at the game.
yeah, because I'm gonna go defense first, and my defensive player of the game will be none other than the person we was talking about earlier, Jannard Avery. Jannard Avery was the guy that got pressure for Ryan McLeod to get that interception last week. I think he does it again. I think he does it again. He gets to Tyler Heineke, either a fumble or he forces the interception. Offensive player, Devontae Smith got to eat. Devontae Smith, I think, and this could be a bold take, I think he eclipses Deshaun Jackson's record. He needs 90 more yards, and I think he gets 110. Devontae Smith is 110, and that. That was a free giveaway too. Um, score prediction. Score prediction. There you go. The Philadelphia Eagles will win and beat the Washington football team 17-41.
Yeah. Wait, and your offensive player was
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith.
Devontae Smith. All right. Is he breaking a record? You said?
Yeah, y'all hear me? I said he's gonna break the record. I said he need like 90 per yard. I said he's a buck 10.
All right, that's what's up. Yeah, I heard a defensive guy, and then I kind of missed the offensive guy. I got your score prediction though, but look,
He wasn't listening to me, but it's cool. I'm used to that.
says the guy that be repeating sometimes the things I say. Anyways, I was reading this comment right here, Philly Fresh from Be More Philly said, "Where the heck is your mask, Philly Fresh?"
I'm about to go buy one for somebody. I'm mad as crap. I left it in the car talking to y'all. I'm gonna bring one of y'all. Anybody got mad as
All right, Gate, you want to go?
Sure, I'll go next. All right, defensive player of the game. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Darius Slay. He's the guy that we're gonna really need. I mean, that's like I said, I'd have him on McLaurin. Darius Slay's had a really good season. I'd like to see him get another one, man. Get another INT this game. Offensively, I'm gonna go a little off script. I think it's gonna be Boston Scott because Jordan Howard's got he's got a little bit of a shoulder stinger, even though he's gonna play. So I think Boston Scott's gonna kind of have that reserve role to where he's gonna get some opportunities and some touches. I'm gonna go Boston Scott because my guy took Devontae Smith, so I'm going Boston Scott.
That was mine. I was gonna steal Boston. Nah, that's good though. That's good. What's your score prediction? Give us a blow. Give us a blowout.
I'm going double digits. I'm gonna say 28-17.
28-17. All right. So with Devontae Smith and Boston Scott off the board, Miles Sanders off the board because he just took himself off the board. Shout out to him. Hopefully he gets better. I'm gonna go. I'll start with defense. And this was Gate City's guy last week. I think I gotta go with him because I want to speed up Heineke. And we just talked about Hargrave being our best guy when it comes to winning. Fletch has been a guy who's been rocking with the Eagles forever, and he looked like he's taking that leadership role and taking these last games personal to get to the playoffs. However, for the Eagles to do what they need to do on defense and my pockets, Derek Barnett, he's gonna have a sack and a half. A sack and a half in this game. It's gonna come clutch. And on the offensive side, I'm gonna go. Dang, no Boston Scott, no Devontae Smith. I'm not trying to pick Jalen Hurts because we try to stay away from the quarterback. He gonna do what he do. I'm gonna go with Kenneth Gainwell. in the fact that I think Boston's going to get the majority of the work on the ground. Howard will come in and do something, but I got a feeling Kenneth Gainwell catches a little slant pass, a little pass to the flats, makes a guy miss, and he gets a score. So Kenneth Gainwell, I think he finds the end zone on something that's little, but he does some Kenny G type things. And so I'm going to go Barnett and Kenneth Gainwell. And my score prediction is we are hitting 30. So it's going to be 30 to 17, 30 to 17, 13-point victory.
Okay, I like it. Hey, look, I'll take a 1-point win. I just need a win.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. I hate score predictions. It's my least favorite part of everything. But this is a big opportunity, man. This is an opportunity to clinch playoffs. All we need is, was it San Francisco win? Or
yeah.
No, yeah, San Francisco win, and then I think was it a Carolina win?
Yeah, I never understood why the San Francisco
win. It's a San Francisco win and the Vikings lost.
And the Vikings play at what, 8:30?
I believe so.
Yeah, but they're playing this guy named When did the Vikings play? Oh, he's saying no.
That's a good question. Let me take a look.
Somebody in the chat let us know. That's quicker than Google sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Washington fans got him. It's like, nah, let me stop.
Yo,
they better not. They better not get my guy. They play tonight. So with that being said, but look, let's be honest, right? Sean Mannon, even if they start, according to Phil Simms, the 37th best quarterback in the NFL coming into the season, Kellen Munn, they ain't beating A. Rodgers. The one thing is they already beat the Vikings already beat them once. They're losing Cousins. Aaron Rodgers wants that number one spot. If they somehow win this game, then it's just ridiculous. But you know what I mean? I'm already chalking that up to an L. Anything can happen in the NFL. We know that. But this is the one thing, like, the Vikings beat them the first time, so they're not going to catch them slipping. You catch a team slipping when they beat you all the time.
Yeah,
Packers understand that they beat them, so I don't see a way. So, man, this is going to be a game, as Gates said, you got to watch our game, and you got to stay tuned with what's going on in the NFL landscape. Real quick, though, shout out to Jose Serrano with the $2 super chat. Happy 2022, my brothers, Boston Scott and Maddox. So he went on the offensive side. He went different than everybody on the defensive side, and he got a monster game, 35-13. That means second quarter, third quarter, we sitting back, relax, loving it, testing things out for the playoffs. We talking about playoffs? Appreciate you, Jose Serrano. I was gonna see if Fresh came back on to say his goodbyes. I'm about to text him.
Hey, the watch, from what I can see, Mike, the streams to watch today, or we got our 1:00 game, but the 4:00 game, Carolina's playing in the 4:00 game, so that's a pretty big one to watch there.
Who they play?
And then 8:00, you got the Minnesota and Green Bay game. You're talking about Carolina. Who does Carolina play?
Yeah,
they play New Orleans, so they can knock New Orleans out.
Yeah, that's a crap game shoot now too, because Miami beat the crap out of New Orleans on Monday night the other night. So that's crazy. Yeah. But with that being said, we about to get up out of here. I will be live for the game. So if you want to chop it up while the game is going and you don't already know, because you turn YouTube off once the game starts, I do the live play-by-plays. I said a double do. So I do the live play-by-play. So come through, chat it up a little bit, say what's up, dip up out of there. But also, if you aren't subscribed to Gate City Sports Channel or Philly Fresh, who just magically disappeared, he's at the game though. Let him have his fun. Go ahead, type it in a search bar. Subscribe to them. It's easy, and we all do content throughout the week. Also, hit the like button wherever you're watching. It's free. Philly fans, you know what I mean? Show us love. It's easy. Last but not least, Gate, let them know what you got going on.
Man, I'm hoping we'll be celebrating playoff berth here. But outside of that, guys, Monday through Thursday, I'll be live streaming 9:05 a.m. We'll be doing some film breakdown later in the week. And we got the draft profile stuff coming up this upcoming weekend. So hope to see a lot of y'all there.
Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And he got to get the draft profile stuff done earlier than most because he goes deeper than most. You know what I mean? With that being said, same here. Hopefully, I'm talking about playoffs. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on. Trying to make some things happen. It's cough, cough, Darius Slay. But I know he's very, very, very busy. He better be busy. You got to get a dub for us today. With that being said, we will see you guys sometime after. Either it's on our own together. Let's get this dub. Eagle Nation, we appreciate you 100%. And we are